Hey everybody, Stacy here. I'm super excited to have another one of the doctors from Dr. World Productions come on. We have on Dr. California USA. She's going to talk about why she does this crazy thing called pageantry. So stay with us right here on Pageantry Now. Hey everybody, happy Sunday. So excited to be here again and to be able to do another episode and talk to another one of the doctors from Dr. World Productions. Before we have Dawn come on, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Pageantry Now and what we're all about. We really are about highlighting the amazing things that title holders do using a crown and a sash to change their world, whatever way they do that. And as you all know, title holders do amazing stuff, and you usually just see the day that they get crowned and the day they crown their successor. But there's 364 days that happen in between that. So we want to be able to give that moment to all of those title holders. Please be part of the conversation. We really want you to be part of this. Please make sure you make comments in the comments, and I will highlight them as we get them. If you have questions, get your friends right now. Get something to drink, bring questions, be part of the conversation. Just make sure that they are PC, because we do have children that listen and watch as well. So with that being said, here we go. Hi, how are you?
I am so good. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. I'm so happy. So, and comments are, wait, hold on. Pageantry Now is commenting. Wait, how did that? Oh, Fatima must be watching. So my co-host, one of my co-hosts, Fatima, is in the house. So thanks, Fatima. Thanks for being here. Ralph says good afternoon. Stephanie says good afternoon, Crownies, because our Crownies are the people that watch us. And then response, good afternoon, Stephanie. So thanks, Ralph, for being here. We appreciate everybody for being in the house. And we need to know who you are. Introduce yourself.
So everybody, I am Dawn Digrius Smith. I am representing California as Dr. California USA 2021. I live in Altadena, California, which you probably have never heard of. But if you've heard of Pasadena, California, I'm actually just north of Pasadena. And it's so cool because we go to the Rose Parade every year.
Oh, I want to be in the Rose Parade. Oh my gosh. That would be like so cool.
It would. I mean, I've always thought about we could have a float. It's not inexpensive, but it would be way cool. And we should probably at some point think about it, because the Rose Parade is just amazing. I've been going since I was a kid. So
oh my gosh, fundraiser. We need to start a GoFundMe now. Sorry.
Okay. I'm in.
No, seriously, that would be like so cool. Oh my gosh. Okay, and Roseanne says hi. Oh, hi. You and Roseanne competed last year for this title.
Yes.
So let's talk. Oh my God, Roseanne says I would love to go to the Rose Parade. There you go. And happy birthday, Roseanne! Happy 50th.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yeah, it was her birthday. Well, her party was yesterday, so I think her party was this week. So, happy birthday, Roseanne. I appreciate it. Happy birthday, anyways. Thanks for being here and tuning in on a Sunday. So let's talk a little bit about, because you were the trailblazers of this process. So tell us about the areas of competition, and why Dr. USA, because I think that is really cool too. So
yeah, there's the competition includes evening wear. It includes a field presentation, which is really, really fun, because it's one of the ways that you can talk about what you do when you're not doing pageants and share your expertise in what you do with respect to your career. So that's nice. And then there is now I have to think. Interview, so panel interviews. And I was fortunate last year to score the highest in the panel interviews, which I was excited about. Yeah. And it was fun. I mean, and it was all virtual, and that's the same thing this year. So what was nice too is that because it was virtual, I think it included a lot more individuals that might not have competed just because they couldn't get there, and with everything going on with COVID.
Right.
And then there was also Photogenic. I didn't do that last year because I didn't think about submitting another photo, but this year there actually is a Photogenic competition as well.
That is fantastic. Like, and honestly, like I have to say that for me, virtually was was fantastic because and you can probably now attest to this. So you've been through this process.
Yes.
I know for all of you, it was a little bit different because you just had to keep refreshing the web page.
Mm-hmm.
So you weren't like sitting, like all of you watching at the same time going, because like virtually, we actually were on StreamYard using this same program, kind of like holding each other's hands and messaging each other, and we were actively processing it. So how was that feeling of like waiting and going, okay, keep refreshing the page. Come on, let's do it.
It was almost the same. I've done pageants, oh gosh, since 1983. So that my first pageant was in 1983. And it was almost the same feeling as when you're up on stage and you're waiting for the announcements. The only difference was you had to keep pushing the button to have everything keep going through.
And your legs were not sweating down your dress.
No, and no one could see it anyway because I was sitting. So it was great.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we are going to have a blast. This is going to be fun. Okay, so Haley, Dr. Nelson says, I am in for the Rose Parade. She would like to be part of your California twin.
Good. We should do that.
And then Roseanne said, my birthday was the 11th, but you celebrated twice, once in Cancun. Oh, well, excuse me, Roseanne. There you go. Like, I want to escape. I want to go someplace where there isn't COVID. I'm sorry.
I used to work in I used to work in Mexico, not in Cancun, but we used to spend weekends in Cancun. So I was an archaeologist. I worked in Mexico, and I spent a lot of time in Cancun. I wish you would have known. I would have told you like really cool restaurants to go if they're still there.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, man. Like I have not been to Mexico. Actually, I've been international title holder 8 times, and I still have not been internationally anywhere.
Oh my goodness. Oh, we'll have to change that. I've traveled quite a bit internationally. I worked in Mexico, Belize, Ecuador, and El Salvador is when I was an archaeologist and then doing academic work. And then I've been throughout Europe, and my husband and I, when we were still dating, went to Egypt in 2015. Because of being an archaeologist. And it was like what inspired me to do that was seeing the King Tut exhibit when I was 6. And so it was just amazing. Oh, you went to the ruins. Oh, Roseanne, where did you go? Did you go to El Rey right in Cancun?
That is so cool. Like
it's tucked right in between hotels. Like you could totally miss it. It was crazy.
Okay, why did I think that you were a psychology PhD? I didn't realize you're archaeology. That is even cooler.
Oh, yeah. So my bachelor's degree is in anthropology with archaeology as a minor. And then I did field work in the US as well as abroad in Latin America. And then when I switched PhD programs, I actually switched from archaeology to history of science because my background in archaeology was in plant science. I was doing what's called paleoethnobotany, which is the study of plant remains in the archaeological record. And then when I switched to history of science, I actually studied the science that I was doing as an archaeologist. So it made it kind of cool and easy. But yeah.
Like you're doing Land of the Lost.
Pretty much. Laura Dern, if you saw Jurassic Park, Laura Dern's character is what I was doing as an archaeologist.
Okay, it says Chichen Itza. Wait.
Chichen Itza. Oh yeah, I think she said Chichen Itza.
It must have. That is awesome. You know that one of my all-time favorite, like one of my all-time wish lists is to go to the pyramids, and I mean I would love to go to Peru as well, but as a child, I had a dream that the Nile River went through the Sphinx and then went out throughout all 3 of the pyramids. And then, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, someone said that actually turned out to be true. And I was like, no way. How did I, as a kid, have a dream about that? So now I'm fascinated. I'm like, tell me more.
Oh my God, Egypt was amazing. I mean, the experience, first of all, the people were lovely. And because I was an archaeologist and an anthropologist, we didn't do a tour. We kind of just hired a driver who spoke Arabic and then just went around. And he took us to places that aren't on the normal tourist place, places to visit. We stayed at a hotel that was right across from the pyramids at Giza. Literally right out our window was the pyramids. And then we went to Luxor and a whole bunch of other sites in the area. But for me, it was like a dream come true, going to the Valley of the Kings and seeing Tutankhamun's tomb and
Wow.
Ramses, and sitting at the same desk that Howard Carter sat at in the 20s when he found Tut's tomb. And
Wow.
couldn't ask for a better trip. I mean, it was, I
Mm.
recommend going. And like I said, the people were amazing. We stayed in a house for the day with a family that lives in the cemetery. So Cairo is very, very packed, like most cities are. But there were a group of folks that used to be the guardians of the cemetery, and then they ended up living there because they were staying there all the time. And so they have these beautiful houses that are built around the mausoleums. It's called the City of the Dead. And we had tea with this family and talked about what it was like to be in Cairo and in Egypt during the Arab Spring in 2013. And it was amazing. I mean, it was just an
Oh,
experience
wow.
I cannot ever forget. It was just so wonderful.
My mind is blown. Okay, so Ralph says he has to go. Have a great day and stay blessed. Thank you for what you do, Dr. Dawn. And then I'm going to ask you my question, and then Stephanie has
Sure.
a question for you too. So
Okay.
my question that I asked everybody is, do you like frogs? Why or why not?
Frogs. I actually love frogs. When I was a kid, I used to collect them, I guess you would say. And especially the little tiny ones that would, and we would
Yeah.
watch them jump around, and then we would let them go. And at that point, people weren't afraid of like salmonella and things. I mean, I'm
Ruined it
56.
by saying salmonella for me, because I never thought about anything like that.
We didn't either. We just did stuff, and we spent so much time. I mean, we spent so much time outside. That's probably why I ended up liking being out in the outdoors and being an archaeologist and sort of hiking and all of that. I mean, it really was just. But frogs were cool, and I was just fascinated by them because of the fact that, you know, they could jump, they could be in the water and on the land. I mean, just all sorts of things. So yes, frogs, very cool.
I there you go. See, someone that could explain that. I mean, because honestly, like as a kid, I grew up in Michigan, and I loved them because I was outside. My mom didn't let us inside the house, so I was very much into fossils and very much into watching nature and what nature became.
Oh,
And
cool.
so, I mean, and that question actually came from when first started doing Pageantry Now. We were doing it as practice questions so that we could ask questions so that people could not feel like they were getting the typical pageant questions. And so I was live streaming with Miss Universe, Miss USA, and one of my viewers said, ask the frog question. So I asked Pia Warsbach the frog question. She went, no, I don't like them. And I was like, and that moment was the moment that made me go, okay, that is a very visceral response. And we have found that it is either no, or it's like, do we do PC, or do we go, yeah, I played with them as kids and we got, you know, and so I am.
Oh yeah, turtles, frogs, you name it, anything outside.
Awesome. That's awesome. So fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
So Dee says, I want to go to the Mayan ruins, Egyptian pyramids, and all the pyramids around the world. I agree. That would be wickedly cool. Stephanie says, dream list trip. Yes, please.
Yes.
Kenzie says, hey, beautiful people. Hey, Kenz, how you doing, babes? Steph says that she's our original crownie, by the way. She's been following me for the 7 years that we've been doing this journey. So cool. I love when she can pop in. And then Steph says, I was an outdoor kid, but now I'm an indoor cat. I agree, Steph. I need my air conditioning now. So, which is really sad that I went from being this kid. Well, Michigan was a little bit different than Miami. Miami is just really humid, and I just don't do humid. Like, I just don't. So, where you are in California, are you in threat of any of the fires, or is everybody safe?
No, this time actually no. The fires are north of us, so we're okay right now. But we live right next to the San Gabriel Mountains, so we are in a fire area. We're very cognizant, and in fact, a few weeks ago, someone had intentionally set a fire up across the way where we are. And luckily we saw it. My husband and I go for a walk every single night, and I saw the smoke and said, I think that's a fire. So we ended up reporting it, and they luckily caught the individual that intentionally set it. But so far, you know, we are good. We are not in any danger.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad. Oh gosh, Steph, I agree. So Kenzie says, never was an outdoor kid. The Midwest is too bipolar.
Humid, cold. humid, cold.
Again, Michigan, I was like, I made igloos outside because again, my mom did not let me in a snowstorm either. So I literally like in the the stacks of snow, like we would, have like on the side of the road or whatever. I
Yeah.
would pull them out, build a cave, get water, make ice out of it so it would actually harden on the inside, and then just sit inside of there.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
How much of a geek do I have to be? Okay, so, and then Steph says that because she grew up in Massachusetts, but she's in Florida now. So we had seasons as kids. So she and I both are the same way, but now we have 4 levels of hot. So there isn't a
climate
season.
change, sadly.
Oh, it's awful. So let's talk about your why. Like you said, you started doing pageants in 1983. I started doing pageants in 1981. So we are about the same amount of time. I don't know how old you are, but I assume we're probably
56.
Oh my gosh, I'm 55. So we are right there. So okay, there you go. I feel a little bit better because I keep thinking, God, I'm the grown up. How am I the grown up?
Well, now I get to be the big sister.
Yay! I mean, I'm like, Diana's 6 weeks older than I am, and I'm always like, so you are the grown up. I am not. So but okay. So this has been 40 years for you, almost 40 years for you. So let's talk about what got you into it and why do you keep doing it?
Originally, it was a fluke. I had a friend that was doing the pageant. So the first pageant I was in was the Miss Huntington Beach pageant in Huntington Beach, California. At that time, it was a preliminary pageant for Miss California to feed into the Miss America pageant. Okay. And so it was pretty rigorous in its competition.
Yeah.
But my friend was doing it, and she said, I don't want to do it by myself. I want to do it with someone else. And I went, okay, I've never done this before. She said, oh, it'll be fun. And they give money for scholarship. And I was in college at the time, just getting ready to start. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And ended up placing 4th. Runner-up.
Wow.
Yeah, and was very surprised. And again, I scored the highest in interview. So I kind of knew at that point, if nothing else, the training that you get and the experience that you get doing pageants really does prepare you for a lot of things that you need and skills that you need to develop later in life, and especially public speaking. And I've done tons of public speaking over the last, 40 some years. And so I thought, well, this is a good way to hone skills, talk to people, but really it was to spread the message about things that I was passionate about.
Right.
And to me, that was the most important part. I mean, and at that point, because it was Miss America, you had to wear a bathing suit. So,
right. Yeah.
Now things have changed and they've kind of morphed from being more of a beauty pageant. And that's the one thing in thinking about why I still do it. Is then it was because I saw the value in it, in developing skills for leadership, public speaking, engagement, community involvement. And now I see it as total empowerment. I mean, it really is a way to empower women, to provide them with opportunity. I mean, men too, but the amount of pageants that they have that men are involved in are a lot smaller.
Very small, yeah.
But what it does is, as I mentioned, it develops those skill sets that I think translate into so many different areas. And it allows women to have a voice that in many cases they don't have in other aspects or areas of their life.
That is phenomenal. So I mean, and I agree with you totally. Like my first pageant was really I mean, I don't want to say fluke. My mom entered me into it, and I have Asperger's, so I didn't have great communication skills, and I was first runner-up, and I thought, that's crazy.
Crazy, right?
Like, how did that happen?
Right.
And my chosen path was USA, because at that point, by the time I aged, because I was starting at teen. Mm-hmm. So by the time I aged into Miss, was the Vanessa Williams situation with Miss America. And
right.
I'm okay. I think that I mean, it just was a personal decision. Like I felt like what they did to her was wrong. And that's just my opinion. So I know there's people out there, and just so that we clear the air, I have been a director for Miss America and I have been a director for USA. So I've done both. And I love both systems wholeheartedly. I love what they both develop for both. Both of them have different paths in some ways, but they are very similar. And I believe the interview is really that place where they all come together. And I think that that's magical and empowering women. Like
Exactly.
that at the end of the day, that's really what pageantry is about. So anyway, sorry, I went off on my tangent. Kenzie says, nope, too cold for that. I think building igloos is not her thing. And then Stephanie says, when the kids call you the elder sage, I look around and go, grown up?
Where is that? Who is that?
I don't know who it is. Kenzie says she can't stay long. Wear your crown positively. You're amazing, and you'll do great things with your crown. Thank you for what you do. Oh, she's not healthcare. She's an archaeologist, but especially during the pandemic. So thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
So let's talk about this experience. So last year you were first runner-up, right?
Yes, I think I was first runner-up in my division. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about like what made you decide to come back? Like you could have easily gone, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. What was it about the experience that said, yeah, no, I need to do this again?
Well, one of the things, so I've, in jumping back, so I was in the Miss Huntington Beach pageant. Then I didn't do pageants for a while. Then when I was married to my first husband, I was in the Mrs. America International pageant, and I was Mrs. Bedminster, and that was in '97. So it was right when I was finishing up at the community college and transferring to a 4-year to finish my bachelor's degree because I went back to school. And I thought it was a great way to connect with young people about why education is so important. So when I found out about the Dr. World pageant, and it's particularly the Dr. United States of America pageant, for me, it just clicked because all of the work that I've done over the last 20-something years has been in working with young women in particular who are sort of not sure if they want to pursue higher education, and convincing them how important it is because, again, one of the things that education does is it opens the door to so many possibilities. And so even just having a bachelor's degree in many cases does make a difference, and it exposes you to a network that you don't have when you're not sort of involved in higher education. So this pageant just totally made sense. So when I found out about it last year, I got so excited I had to talk really fast.
I do too. Like I honestly, like I was just like, the same way.
This is so great because in many cases, everyone thinks pageants are just for women who are younger, who are up to like age 24 or 25. And, as you can see, I was in the Ms. America pageant 2018, 2019. My sashes and my crowns are back there.
Okay, there we go.
And Susan Jeske, who is the director of that pageant, knew Diana because Diana was in the Ms. America pageant. Yeah. And said, hey, I know about this pageant. You should check it out. And so I did. And from that moment on, I was like, wow, this is really in alignment with the way I feel about why pageantry is so important in lives and why it's been important in my life. And the connection of thinking about education and how, the motto is because smart is beautiful. And in fact, my platform while I was in the Ms. America pageant was about education and that women can be smart and beautiful at the same time because my background is in STEM, which is science, education, engineering, and math. And most people think, well, you can't have a brain and be beautiful at the same time. And so by doing the pageants and talking about that at all the appearances that I did, it started to break down those stereotypes. And so I thought, well, I did that one last year. It was such a wonderful experience. Everybody was lovely. I'm going to do it again. And so, right away, I told Diana, absolutely, I'm totally on board. Where do I sign up? And so here I am.
That is so fantastic. I mean, I've known Diana. I had my younger journey like you. It's the same thing. So I had done teen. I did one-year miss got married really young. I got married at 19. So I did Mrs. America in the late 80s. And then I took a break for a really long time. Like a lot of stuff happened in my life, and like that wasn't my thing. And I came back to pageantry because I had a dream after I had survived cancer that I wanted pageant. And I was like, I literally had a dream, and I woke up and I went, oh, I'm going to do a pageant. And my then spouse looked at me and went, what?
Yeah, they don't get it sometimes.
Yeah. And I started competing, and I found Diana was actually at she was the MC at my very first national pageant. And I fell on stage like Miss Congeniality, and she just didn't laugh. So I was like, and that was 2003. So we've known each other for a really long time, and I followed everything that she's done, and I think she's a phenomenal woman, and everything that she stands for and the system stands for. And when I started seeing her advertise Dr. World, I was like, well, I'm not a doctor, so like that's awesome, but I don't want to, I can't do that. And then when I found out she brought back Achievement World, because she was Mrs. American Achievement, so she actually talked to the original owner and said, I'd like to buy the trademark. And I went, I'm in. Where do I sign up? Like, let me do this. This is what I need to do. So I would love to. So, hey, how you doing, Noi? Noi says, hey, Stacy, this is an early watch. Excited to work with you again. I cannot wait to see you. Thank you so much. Haley says, Diana Lawrence, you are amazing. I agree.
Yes.
She's just a fantastic human.
Exactly.
And she's an amazing director. And I know she goes out of her way to try to make sure that we grow this organization, but we get something out of it too, which I think that's the biggest part of all of this, is finding a way to fulfill our needs. And especially, and you can relate to this, I'm sure, as I get older, there are less and less opportunities for me to do pageantry. And I think there needs to be more representation. As we get older, we have so much more that we can share that experience, and to really be there and really help other women and mentor them and really help them rise up and really give them, fortification. And I think that we have found that this class has become really unique, that we all really have that same ideal behind it. So you have to be part of our princess program. Even though if you don't have a princess, you're going to have to come like mentor with us, because I would love for you to do a STEM project or do something with us. Because like I'm like totally into STEM. I even though I own a gymnastics company and I'm an educator at heart, that's my background. I think it's awesome. So, cool. So like we can do something with archaeology. Oh, there's got to be something.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if you can see in the background, but I have my rack.
I was wondering, is that an archaeology rack?
No, it's actually soap. So.
Oh, okay.
So one of the things I did during COVID, I was laid off from my job. I was working at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. I transferred out there and was running a team of 6 researchers who were working with me at the Library of Congress. And that division closed, and so I lost my job and came back to California and didn't know what to do with myself, and thought, well, I can do all these interesting things, and was talking to a friend from high school, and soap making was something I did when I was younger. And because it's science related, it's chemistry, soap is chemistry, I thought, oh, what a great way to integrate like STEM education and craft, and especially in making it fun. So I started making soap, and then now I sell it. So, so the soap is in the back. Yeah, and every year I do at our local middle school, they have their science night in January. And so what I do is I talk about, whatever, because I've been doing it now this will be my 3rd year. So I'll talk about everyday science and chemistry, and then pageantry, because I'm always representing a title. So this year it's perfect because I'm talking about being Dr. California USA and STEM and education and how soap is important.
That is, I was just gonna say, like, Haley says she will find you a princess.
Thank you. I want one. I asked when I saw everybody was getting one, I'm like, I want a princess too.
I do too. I don't have any kids, so I need to borrow somebody else's kids. So let me.
Mine are grown, so.
Oh yeah? How old are your kids?
My son is 30. He's a jazz musician and he lives back east and teaches music. We're all educators. So my son is a music educator back in New Jersey, and my daughter is here in California. She is a K through 5 educator, and she has her master's in educational foundations from Cal State LA, right here in California.
Ah, cool. And that's who you work for now, right?
Yes, yes. So right now I'm running an evaluation center, which we provide evaluation and applied research services for faculty, nonprofits, anyone who has grant funding. So we do all the analysis of their data and then help them figure out what they're doing, what they're not doing, and grow, and then get more funding.
That is so cool. Okay. All right. We're being really geeky. I'm sorry. I was going to say to you, during the pandemic, much like you, I was like, my business closed because we had to close everything down. And I don't do well just sitting doing nothing. And I had, because I'm going through chemo, I had started buying some essential oils and was really playing with how essential oils can keep you from having nausea. I know. Weird science tip, just so you know, there's actually, you can smell certain smells and it'll stop you from being sick. Yeah. So, temporarily. So I was like, okay, well, I literally sat down like a chemist and put out all my essential oils and started figuring out which ones were the best ones that were antiviral, and started making hand sanitizer for everybody that I knew. And even at the hospital that I go to, I now, when I come, I bring with me a little bottle full of specially scented hand sanitizer that sprays on their hands. We use it in the gym now. I've never sold anything, but everyone said, oh my gosh, you've got to sell this. This smells amazing. And I'm like, no, man, this is just my project to keep me from going, crazy. But I love it. Like, and I think that it's really cool that we can take, things that are fun for us in our brain and be able to apply it to something that's happening. And it's still crafty for us because our brains are going, oh, cool, I'm making something.
Yeah. Sure.
So we should know where we can buy your soap.
Oh, so you can go online to sunrisemeadowfarm.com.
Okay.
And I sell, in addition to soap, so all my soaps are handmade. I make them from scratch. I use predominantly organic, as many organic raw materials as I can, and I try to keep it as local as possible. So for example, any of my soaps that have honey in it, the honey is right from here in Altadena. Essential oils for the most part, and then there are some fragrance oils that I use, but I try to use natural fragrance oils. So for example, if you can see the pink soap in the back, that one was actually made with prickly pear fruit.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I try to use as many.
Jungle Book prickly pear fruit.
Yeah. So from the cactus, they're real common here, and you can even buy them in the grocery store. But there's a lot just hanging out. In fact, my neighbor down the road has some, and so I puree it up and mix it in with the oils that I make my soap with, and then I add the lye, and it makes the soap, and it has to sit for 4 to 6 weeks, and then I sell it.
Oh my God. Okay. You're going to have to share it like in the comments later.
So sure. I can type that down.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's creative. So it kept me busy, like you were saying, during COVID. But then also it allows me to have a way to talk with people about not just soap itself, but really empowering through entrepreneurialism. So my platform this year is actually Stay Safe, Stay Strong. And one of my clients is a nonprofit based in Tennessee that works with women who are victims of human sexual trafficking.
Oh, wow.
And I found out about them through a mutual friend. She worked with me in California at the chancellor's office, and then she moved to Nashville, and she was in the same circle as the woman who's the executive director. Her name is Rhonda Smith. So interestingly enough, there's a lot of us Smiths running around. And I reached out, and there was a connection there. My daughter is actually a victim of human trafficking. but we were very,
Whoa.
yeah. And so it's always
Whoa.
been an issue that's been very prominent for me in my life to work with organizations that are combating human trafficking. And we were very fortunate, knock on wood, that we were able to stop things before she got on the airplane to go to meet this person. She had been groomed by this individual online
Oh my gosh.
and was thinking it was one person, and it wasn't. And luckily for us, her very close friend let us know that this was happening, and we were able to shut it down. And so from that point forward, it's always been a real concern. And what's interesting about human trafficking is that most people think it happens, far, far away, that it doesn't happen in the United States,
Right.
and that it's mostly children from, disadvantaged countries, but that is not true. And so part of what I'm doing this year through Stay Safe, Stay Strong is to, have conversations with people about, how common this is and why you need to be aware, and how online conversations can turn dangerous very, very quickly, especially if you have children or young adults in your household. My daughter was 21 when she was talking with this person, so she wasn't 16, she wasn't 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And
Oh,
that what are the things to be aware of, and how are some of the ways in which these individuals ingratiate themselves and try to get very familiar with folks, men and women, not just women, but
right.
predominantly women, and all of that. So it's a really serious issue. And in fact, one of the public service statements that I made the other day on Facebook was that California had more calls in 2018 to their trafficking hotline than any other state, or even out of the country.
Wow. I would never have thought that. I mean, I know it's very, we have an issue here in Miami as well.
Yeah.
It's, and that is one of the things that we hear often, because we are one of the, well, we are the leading airport to go in and out of South America. So there is quite a lot of trafficking that goes on here as well.
Yeah.
And there isn't enough education about it. There really isn't any way for parents to really identify or to really have an idea of how to protect their kids, when it could be, somebody that lives next door to you and not even think about it, or even be online as well. So can you talk a little bit more about what are the things that we need to be aware of, or things that we can look for that are warning signs, so that we can help be better educated?
Sure. Well, one of the things has to do with just individuals. And again, this is not strangers. I mean, there are boyfriends that get their girlfriends involved. There are parents that get their children involved, family members. I mean, it really is. There isn't a stereotype attached, because it really can hit anyone, and it's not. And again, it's not even something that hits only lower socioeconomic households. I mean, it
Right.
crosses all boundaries. But some of the things to look for is if you notice that your family member changes in their attitude, that they start to become a little bit more secretive about who they're talking to. They're spending a lot of time, particularly online. A lot of this starts online. If it's not a person that's right
Right.
immediate to them, they'll have conversations. So in chat rooms, or on Instagram, or on WhatsApp, or whatever, it's just they start conversations that then lead. And in fact, for more information on some of the warning signs, I would really recommend going to the humantraffickinghotline.org website.
Okay.
It's a really good website. And in fact, I can copy it and paste it into the
I'll,
chat.
I'll add it to the chat. So yeah, if you can copy and paste it into the chat. I know that um, this is a strange aside, and I can't believe I'm actually going to share this on the show. But I think it is worthy um, of the discussion. So back in the 80s, we didn't have there was no online. But my first boyfriend was from South America, and he took advantage of me, actually slipped me something into my drink, and his entire family had their way with me.
Oh my goodness.
And I was 16. So
oh, Stacy, I'm so sorry.
it is. I don't talk about it a lot, but it is. I mean, I don't think that there was any money that changed hands. So like, I don't think of it as sex trafficking, but I know it was sexual assault.
Right.
And I think that I mean, I fault myself for it. So I always say that I put myself in that situation. I shouldn't have let that happen. And I know that that's victim identity and trying to deal with those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't even imagine like how scary it had to be for you as a parent to going through that with your daughter and realizing that if it hadn't been for her friends saying, hey, something's wrong, I'm sure my parents probably knew there was something wrong, but they just didn't, in those days, we didn't talk about things like that. So,
right. Well, even now people don't.
You don't.
I mean, it's
yes.
a subject that people don't want to talk about. And, as I mentioned, my daughter was 21. So it's not like she was younger and impressionable. You think your child at that point is like mature and responsible, but no. And the individuals that get you involved in this,
Right.
no. I mean, that's the thing. They are experts. They know who to target, how to target you, how to manipulate you to get you to think this way. And again, it isn't just strangers. It could be husbands, it could be family members, it could be relational shit, really a boyfriend, a girlfriend. I mean, it really is a subject, and it is not talked about. It's one of those things that's really, it's swept under the rug. It comes to the surface usually during high profile sports events, because that's when it congregates in certain areas. But it can't just be something that we look at every 4 years when the Super Bowl happens. I mean, this happens every single day.
Right.
And my feeling is the more that we can empower young people, male and female, but especially for women, because we tend to be a little more vulnerable in some areas, is the more that we can educate young people how to stay safe, how to be strong, how to reject these things, know where to go if you even think that this might be happening, and talk to someone about it. I mean, it gives me goosebumps, but
I agree.
to talk to someone, let them know, because like you said, thank goodness my daughter's friend knew that she was getting ready to get on this airplane. Otherwise, we never would have known, and she would have been a casualty of the situation.
That is so crazy. Stephanie says, I love how multifaceted our queens are as we develop and grow. I agree. Haley says that, thank you both for sharing these important stories today. What a meaningful and powerful platform, Dawn. I agree. And honestly, because so few people really, let's face it, so many things are taboo in our society in the United States that we don't openly talk about.
Right.
The hard topics. We don't, and that is really why that has become more prevalent here as well, is because people don't talk openly about what is appropriate, what isn't appropriate, what are the things that, we can be aware of, and how to look for, behaviors that can be warning signs, and how to, I mean, and honestly, the one thing with the internet is that the people that are in these, I don't want to say professions, but that do these crimes are always developing new ways to be able to, get to find ways to get to vulnerable people. And there's grooming that goes on in all ways. It isn't just on the internet, like you said. It could be, I mean, for in my case, like, again, it was my boyfriend. And honestly, I mean, the worst part about this story for me is that I stayed with him for another 3 years.
Well, there is that. I mean, that's one of the things also too, is, it's a certain aspect of Stockholm Syndrome emerges as a result, because they have spent time building up that trust, right? Where you trust this individual and they would never do anything to hurt me. they care about me, because
Right.
it's almost like domestic violence. It follows the same sort of path, where it's this, incident, and then, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't need to do that, I'll never do it
Right.
again, and then it just follows in that pattern. And that's what's so empowering about pageantry, and sort of bringing it back to our conversation at the start, is that, being in pageantry, and particularly now in the doctor world pageant, because there's such a strong relational aspect between promoting education and having a platform,
Right.
is that it gives those of us who are participating in pageantry a real opportunity to give a voice to these types of concerns that we have, that we're passionate about, that we want to share with others, really to inform, to
Right.
expose, to people, to things, and also to serve as a not so much a role model, but really as a voice for people to learn more.
Right.
And as when you stick a crown, my crowns are in the back, but if you put a crown on your head, and you're wearing a sash, and you're out where people are, it doesn't matter where you are. Everybody's going to come over and ask you about it. And then you have that opportunity to say, well, and then you start talking about the causes that you're really passionate about, or your platform. And that's the wonderful, beautiful thing about pageantry, is that it opens the door to being able to talk about these sorts of
I
things in
agree.
ways that people will listen.
I agree. Amen. Like I absolutely agree. And that, I mean, and honestly, like, I didn't know where this conversation was going to go today. And I have to say that, like, I know it's very strong, but usually I try to keep it lighter too. But I need these moments where people get to share their story, because pageantry really is about how we help educate other people. At the end of the day, you wear a crown and people listen to you. And so
That's right.
many women have an advocacy that they are, or a platform that they are proud of, and that they're sharing the information of. And because you wear a crown, people go, oh, wait, hold on. Okay, we need to hear her. And to me, that is what the value is in pageantry. I mean, I love getting to know people. I love the relationships that I get from them. But at the end of the day, like, hearing the stories that I hearing, what these women like yourself are doing to really, and I say it, to change their world, but it really is it, even if it's a local title, state title, if it's a national title, if it's an international title, your advocacy and platform change and grow as you grow as well throughout your title holder reign. And I don't give up pageantry because I still have something to say.
Exactly.
And that's awesome. So you're awesome. Oh my gosh.
Well,
I'm
thanks.
so happy.
So are you.
Thank you. All right, well, let's do something funny. So fast and funny, and have a good time really quick, because that was really deep, and I don't want to dissuade from the information, because I think it is very important. But I also, oh, good. Okay, let me share this really quick so that we've got it. So if anybody needs the information, here is the hotline, so that if you have a question, or if you are not sure about something, uncomfortable about something, please call the phone number, or go to the website so that you can speak to somebody, so that you can get help. Because I agree with the whole Stockholm Syndrome, is that you get into a relationship that you might think is safe, and your warning lights are going off in your head, and you still think, oh, but they love me, so let me, you don't, it's not safe. So, and I can say that wholeheartedly from someone that has had an experience that probably could have been pretty bad. I mean, ironically, on my 55th birthday, that guy called me and he goes, hey, can you get me out of Colombia?
Wow.
Found me on Instagram.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, seriously?
No.
Like, no. Oh my husband just went, no. So okay, so we're gonna do this or that, and you choose which one you like and why, or why not. Why? Okay. So do you like chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
And why?
It just tastes better.
Okay, good enough reason. Do you like to be casual or do you like to be dressed up?
Oh my goodness, dressed up. There is so much, it is so much fun to get something blingy on. I love bling. So if you can give me a sparkly dress, just ask my daughter. She'll tell you she hates glitter and I just love glitter. So anytime I can wear anything sparkly and be dressed up, and you just feel so elegant when you do that.
Oh, we have some links to share with you. Haley and I will have to give you some links because we have found some Amazon glitter like you would not. Every time I hear glitter, I think of that Target commercial where the teacher goes, glitter, lots and lots of glitter.
Mm-hmm. That's me. That's me.
I'm not that kind of girl, but like all of it, recently I've become like all about the sequins. So I get it. All right. So do you prefer to wear high heels or are you like a flats kind of girl?
High heels.
Really?
Yeah.
And why?
And it's funny because they are sometimes very painful, but there's something about when you dress up and you wear heels. Well, one, I have to say too is I can't be taller than my current husband, but one thing that was nice was when I was wearing heels, because I'm 5'7.5". When I would wear my heels, and I usually wear like 5.5-inch heels, I would be taller than him. And it would be so much fun to like be taller than my husband.
Oh my God. 5.5-inch heels. So do you wear tippy tops?
Those I can't, but there are certain brands of heels because when you get that high, they'll have the platform in the front.
Right.
So, I like, there's a shoe brand that I really enjoy. They're kind of expensive, and they're made by Christian Louboutin.
Oh, I want some, but I don't want some.
I used to have a lot of them, but I don't much anymore, but I still have a few holdouts. And in fact, the ones I'm wearing for the evening wear competition this year, I'm wearing because they are very comfortable. So if you can find comfortable heels, wear them.
I am jealous because like I really do want to buy a pair just to be, but I don't do heels well. Like I don't. So
it's practice.
I've looked at a bunch of Louboutin shoes and thought I just want one pair. So you'll have to.
I will show you the ones that
I just want to. Anybody that knows me, I want Louboutin and I want a Louis Vuitton purse, which I have yet to be able to get. I have Chanel and I have all these other ones because one of my friends passed away and I inherited all of her really high-end bags.
Oh wow!
So I have things that I will never use, but I have them, and I didn't even know. Like I gave one away, and I didn't even realize it was a big deal. It was Jimmy Choo.
Oh yeah.
And then I just gave away a Chloe to one of my students because her name was Chloe, and people are like.
Well, if you ever want to give away a Chanel, I would happily accept.
Really, I think I know Stephanie really wants the Chanel one, so I can't do that. So if Steph's watching, I know I'm like it's lambskin, so I like to just pet it.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful.
That was really sad. I should have said that. Okay. All right, so you are a dress up kind of girl. You like heels. Do you like makeup or no?
Actually, no. I wear it sometimes. I mean, I used to work in the sun, so most of my field work was done in Central and South America. And so because of that, even wearing sunscreen, which I am religious about because I care about my skin, I still have pigmentation marks because of getting so much sun.
Right.
So I kind of like wearing foundation, but I don't know, there's something about just having a natural face and, it just feels cleaner. I mean, one thing I do is if I am wearing makeup, I will clean my face religiously every night. I mean, I never go to bed with makeup on. It's so bad for your skin. But I would prefer to not wear makeup if I didn't have to.
You and I both. I think that we need to change that. So yeah, because I do the same thing. I only wear it when I'm on And then I go clean my whole face, but I don't like the way it feels on my face. So luckily I've learned how to do it really, really fast, and I know how to do it. I have I go with all vegan options. So everything is really light and airy, but I can't do, cause like, no.
Yeah.
In the early days when makeup was, heavy and not so, anyways. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What would you like to share with us that we have not spoken about? I forgot to ask. Well, I know your favorite area of competition is interview, right?
Yeah, that is my favorite. And it's because you get to talk. I mean, my daughter laughs because we cannot go anywhere in public, whether I'm wearing a sash or crown or not. We cannot go anywhere in public where I don't talk to someone, because I just like learning about people. So we were even at a Dodgers game last week, and we were waiting to get the bus to get back to the train station because we took public transportation. And I just started a conversation with the gentleman behind me, and his niece was there too, and she's kind of cringing, but we were talking about he was from Guatemala, and he grew up in Los Angeles, and now he lives in Chino Hills. And I mean, I learned everything about this guy in like 15 minutes standing waiting for a bus. But it was so much fun to like just talk and say, yeah, did you grow up here? Did you not? And I love talking to people. So
my sister-in-law is my best friend, and my husband. Obviously, my husband is too. But my sister-in-law is an introvert, and we'll go someplace, and she's like, "Oh God, she's talking to them again."
I know. It's like, why are you doing that? Can't we just go somewhere?
And my husband goes, and just wait 3 minutes, because we will know, that woman had a baby 3 months ago, and her cousin's sister just had, and he's like, it's kind of cool to have my wife just sit and talk to. And even my husband, we had been together for like 5 years, where we got in an elevator, and we got off the elevator, and he goes, "You didn't talk to anybody."
He was surprised.
And I went, what are you talking about? And he goes, "That's never happened." How did that happen? And I went, "Does it bother you?" And he goes, "I didn't realize that it was a thing until I was on an elevator a week ago, and I went hi to a complete stranger, and I went, why did I do that?"
You never know. You'll never know who you're going to meet. That's my mantra, is you're out somewhere, you never know. I mean, I've met all sorts of really interesting people, and then for some reason it usually turns out there's some kind of connection. Some of the work that I did when I was working with the United Nations was because I had a conversation with someone at an event, and then I became the main representative for that NGO to the United Nations. And I had 2 years where I was working with the UN, and that's how I went to El Salvador. I mean, it's just, you never know.
You never know. Everybody is like, "Why do you talk to everybody?" I said, "Because you never know." Like, I have 2 degrees between me and Kevin Bacon. I was at a fundraiser here in Miami, struck up a conversation with someone who said he was Nick Cage's producer. Turns out he really was.
Oh, that is so okay. So now there's less degrees of separation between us, because guess who I went out with early on in my life?
Nick Cage? No, wait.
Yeah. Way a long time ago. I met him at a club in Los Angeles. He had a girlfriend at the time, and he was dancing with me, and yeah.
Okay, was Norman his producer back then, or he wasn't in movies yet?
It was really early on. I mean, this was right before Valley Girl came out, so this was 1983.
Oh, so this was before Norm too,
yeah. It was wait. He told me he was Nicholas Coppola, so right. I didn't make the connection. And then my girlfriend and I, who we were in Miss Huntington Beach together, so it was right after that, we went to the movie and we saw Valley Girl, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden she's like elbowing me, because there he is on the screen. And I went, "Oh my gosh."
Holy, okay, what are the chances that I would just like randomly say that?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, oh my gosh, that is not, because like I didn't believe that Norm was really the producer. And my ex, like, at that point, every time that I dated somebody or I was talking to somebody, he would do like a background check on him.
Uh-huh.
And he came over to my house and Norm was messaging me about something. He was at some fundraiser in LA, and my ex goes, "You're really going to talk to him over me?" And I was like, "I'm not dating you anymore. What did I?" And he goes, "Go IMDb him. I'll talk to you in the morning."
Oh.
He had already done a background check on him and knew he was like legit this guy. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then so I messaged Norm and I'm like, "You are really this person?" He goes, "Yeah, is that a problem?" But I went,
Oh.
"Nope."
Well, another well, if you know Frank Stallone, then it'll be even weirder because
Oh my gosh.
another guy I dated was friends with Frank Stallone. I don't know.
Okay, wait. Creepy boyfriend's mom worked for their mother here in her salon here. So
oh my gosh.
I know both of them.
I hung out with Frank Stallone in Laguna Beach in the 80s. I was dating this guy named Jeff Isbell. I don't know if that's somebody that you know, but that's who I was dating at the time. He was way older than me. I was 17 and he was 31. Shh, don't tell my parents.
The boyfriend was 5 years older, but that was scandalous for me anyway. So
Yeah.
No. Oh wow!
That's so crazy.
Yeah, so I didn't even know who Sylvester Stallone was, and then I met their mom, and Frank walked into the room, and I was like, "That's a good-looking guy."
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and the boyfriend was like, "You can't talk to them," and I went, "Them
Really?
who?" And then Sylvester walked in too, and I went, "Wait, he's somebody important?" Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, okay, I don't care. I mean, and you can ask my husband. I know I have not seen many movies, so the fact that I still haven't seen Rocky.
Oh, you should.
None.
It's not a very good. I mean, it's not a very good movie.
Whatever. It doesn't. But that's crazy. Like what? Like how?
I know.
We are a continent apart, you and I, and have had totally like unique experiences. Like that is craziness.
I know. That's why I say it's a very small world, and that's why, again, part of what's so cool about doing this and meeting people is if I wasn't doing this pageant, I never would have met you.
Right.
So again, that's cool. But then you just never know how you're going to connect with folks, and weirdly enough, there's always some connection.
Yeah, and I think that's so cool. I mean, honestly, that's part of the reason I love doing this. So I love getting to know people, and I hear the stories, and I shouldn't always put my own stuff into it, but I do because I think there's connection. Human connection is real. And we don't always get it because we spend so much time being disconnected through, the internet now. Even though it connects us, it doesn't connect us. So,
yeah.
Anyways, so all right. So, what would you like to share that we have not talked about, and how do we find you and be able to get in contact with you other than your website to be able to like follow your journey and things like that? So,
okay, well, you can search for me through Sunrise Meadow Farm because that's the best way to reach me right now. Because I keep my Facebook private just for various reasons. But Sunrise Meadow Farm, you can always find me there, sunrisemeadowfarm.com, or I'm on Facebook as Sunrise Meadow 20. I'm on Instagram as well at Sunrise Meadow 20, so you can find me there.
Okay.
And I don't know. I mean, I think we've talked about a lot of things, and it's been so wonderful. And again, I love being able to just really show that the stereotypes that exist about pageantry really don't exist anymore. Amen. And that what we do and why we keep doing it is exactly what you said before. It's because we have something to say. We still have something to say. And pageantry really gives us the opportunity to be able to do that.
That is absolutely, and that's why PageantryNOW it came about, because I was so tired of people trying to put a negative spin on it. And I went, it isn't those things. And I need to be able to change the way people see us and hear us, and, to understand that it really is about positivity and amazing relationships you develop. And the human part of this. There really is a human part of it, and about really how we make a difference. And I'm all for that. So.
And it's a sisterhood. And as you know, like once you with other, you know, queens, I mean, you're friends with them for life. I mean, everyone thinks the competition and you're fighting against each other, but no. And, you know, in fact, when I give my talks to young women, I always say, actually against yourself.
Exactly.
And, you know, you're just trying to be the best that you can be, and you're competing against just you, and everyone else is there. And the nice, win or lose, it doesn't matter. The experiences that you have, the people that you meet, the things that you get to do, really, the winning is icing on the cake, but you know, the experience of being able to be involved in pageantry is just wonderful. So if there's one thing I can say is get out there, find a pageant. If you can do the Dr. World pageants in any capacity, I definitely would recommend those. Otherwise, find one that you want to do and just take the plunge and do it.
Awesome. I love you. All right. Do me a favor. I'm gonna drop you out and close up the show. Stay in the chat room because I do want to just finish up with you. Thanks for coming on, because like this was so much fun. I can't believe we were on for an hour and 5 minutes. Like I told you
it went like this,
and it went, but we get to a place where we get to the good stuff, and then I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna have fun. So I mean, and it was good stuff and it wasn't fun, but we still found a way to make it, you know, informational and fun for us, hopefully. So
agreed.
All right. So
thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming on. I had a great time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you, everybody. I don't know if anybody's still with us, but thanks for watching. We do appreciate it. I'm so grateful to get to know Dawn better and to be able to hear her story, which is very, you know, heart-wrenching, but also inspirational, because she's taking those moments that were terrifying and changing them and making them into ways to be able to help other people. And really, that's what I feel pageantry is all about. To all of you that have joined us and watching it on replay, we are so grateful for all of our crownies, because I can have these great conversations, and that's wonderful, and I love it and I enjoy it. But I love it even more when I have people that hear those stories and watch them back, and they hear about these amazing women and men too, because without my crownies, like, we're talking to ourselves, which again would be okay, but it's even better because of you. If you haven't already, please like, follow, subscribe Pageantry Now. And if you're interested in competing in Dr. World or the Ms. Achievement World systems, go to drworldproductions.com. I will see you guys all next time. Have a great day, and that's a wrap.